As a consultant, what I see with a lot of my clients is that they're trying to understand who their audience is. So I take them through a process that I'll show you in a moment around how to clarify who your audience is. Hey everyone, this is the Creative Breakthrough and I'm Kosh. I help creatives build the skills and beliefs necessary to thrive physically, mentally, and financially. Today I want to talk about understanding your audience, clarifying who your audience is, and creating an offer to give to them so that they will buy from you. So that we're not just building a following, we're building a clientele, a customer base. The goal of doing this is to understand what people want from you, what they consider your brand to be. So if your marketing is working, then what people are saying back to you is what you've been communicating to them, and what people want from you, what type of content they want from you, what type of products or services they would like you to offer that they could purchase, how much they trust you. These are kind of the core components of what I do with clients to help them understand who their audience is and create a product or service that they can then present to their audience so they can make money, so they can monetize. So I'm gonna head over to the computer and let's jump in to the framework that I've created to help tons of artists. When we talk about understanding our audience, the first piece is getting the data so that we can identify the patterns and then use those patterns to help us navigate in the right direction for our business. What we're doing is we're creating an online focus group, and we can do that through Google Forms. So it's free. It doesn't cost you any money to do this. I'm going to run through these questions because these questions help create what I call your brand Bible and your customer avatar. So your brand Bible being basically all the information you need on one sheet to go to when you create content or create products or services. And the customer avatar being the person who buys from you, who they are, what they're into, how much money they make, how old they are, like demographic information, but also being more specific to their interest. So I'm going to run through this survey real quick so you can understand the reason why when I work with clients, we ask these questions. The first thing you got to do when you create a form is you got to make sure that it's collecting emails, because we use these emails that people give us to create our email list, which is very important for nourishing and owning our audience outside of social platforms. And just so you understand, this survey that I created using Google Forms is for a client of mine who is a photographer. I'm going to break down these questions. It's a very short survey. It's only about 15 questions. And that's to make sure that people fill it out without being frustrated, and also that you get real responses. So let me walk you through this. So the first question is, how do you identify ethnically? This question is important because Instagram and other social platforms typically don't tell us what race or culture or ethnicity our audience is. And that's why this question is important. It's also important when you pitch to brands, because when you can align with brands with a similar customer avatar, and a lot of times that avatar falls on ethnicity or race or culture, then you have a real partnership there and you can make some real money. So the next question is, what is your sex? This is just to understand who's really engaged with you. Is it more male or female? Is it 50-50? Instagram and other platforms tell you this information as well, but it's good to have it on your survey because it helps when people fill out this survey or this focus group, you know who's more engaged with what you're doing. Most of these first questions are demographic questions. When you pitch to a brand or when you try to understand who your customer is and you're able to communicate that, then these questions help you kind of phrase that very quickly. My customer avatar is African-American, 50% male, 50% female, between the ages of 24 and 35, making roughly between $40,000 and $60,000 a year. So just off the top, you can discuss some of those things easily and know exactly who it is that's interested in what you have to offer. So your age is very simple. We just want to know the age range of people that are interested in. The next question is, what is your yearly income? So this question is important because we want to know how much people are making, because this will help us kind of get a gauge for what price we can offer a product or service at. The next question is, how often do you see or engage with Taylor being you? So you would put your name.
or your brand's name? How often do you see or engage with Taylor's content? And this is just to understand how frequently people are seeing your content. It's important to know that, to make sure that one, you're posting enough, and two, when you're posting, it's actually getting shown to people. The next question is, how would you describe Taylor to others? I love this question because it helps us understand if what Taylor is doing is resonating with people. So if people say Taylor is an incredible photographer who takes photos of wildlife, and that's the kind of content that she's been putting out, then we understand that the marketing, the communication, the messaging that we've been doing as a brand and as a influencer is working with people. It's connecting, it's making sense to them. What photographers do you actively follow and engage with besides Taylor? So this is another important customer avatar question. We want to know specifically, yes, these people are 18 to 24. Yes, they're African American. Yes, they make $40,000 to $60,000 a year. But what do they like about photography? Like, what photographers do they really engage with? That's an important specificity for the customer avatar, the person that you're trying to sell to. It helps you understand them better. Are you interested in learning photography? So this question is helpful to understand if this would be an offering for the audience. So because she's a photographer, we want to know, do people want to learn photography? Because if they want to learn photography, then we can offer that as a course or a guide or a service. And also we can create content that teaches people photography, which will continue to expand her brand awareness and also the amount of people that subscribe to her and follow her. And then we go on, if yes, what do you hope to achieve by learning photography? So we want to understand what people's future state is, like what they want to become because they've learned photography. This helps us create content. It helps give us content ideas. We understand what people want to achieve, so then we can create content that speaks to that. The next question applies similarly. What do you aspire to be in life? This helps us understand what kind of people are following us and then speak to those aspirations through our content. So someone might say, I aspire to be a professional photographer or a photographer for a magazine. Then we understand the type of content. We also understand people's desires, so we can implement that messaging and that content to speak to that. And that'll help people feel seen and heard. And that'll also help us develop a stronger customer base. And then how often do you use these social media platforms? So we usually ask this question because we just want to understand where your audience attention is at, mainly what platforms their attention is at mostly. And when we understand that, then that's where we can dive deeper into producing content for those platforms. The next question is, what do you hope to feel when booking a photo shoot with a photographer? This question goes back to desires and aspirations. If we go the route of her just booking clients, the photographer Taylor just booking clients and not teaching, then we want to understand what the customer hopes to feel when they book that photo shoot. What are they hoping to get from booking that photo shoot? And we can use that language in our marketing to get more people to book photo shoots. What type of content would you like to see from Taylor? So Taylor being your name, right? This is one of my favorite questions because we literally ask people straightforward, what type of content do you want to see from me? Once we get these responses back, we can then just start implementing the type of content people want to see, which will increase our engagement. And then ultimately, it will increase our followers, our subscribers, and our customers. Would you ever buy a product or service from Taylor? This question, it may seem like a simple question, yes or no, but really it's more a question of how much do people trust you? Because if we ask people, how much do you trust Taylor? We're not going to get authentic answers. But if we say, would you ever buy a product or service from Taylor? Then people can just be authentic. They can be honest about yes or no. Yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. And this helps us understand not only the demand for what Taylor has to offer, but how much people trust the products and services that she presents to the marketplace. And then we continue on and we say, if yes, what would you be willing to buy from Taylor? This helps us get more specific and understand what exactly people want from Taylor at this time. And you have to take this answer with a grain of salt because some people really don't know or they just say anything. But this can give you some additional insight on products and services that you can offer that you may not have thought about as a business owner. And then the last question, how much do you spend estimated on photo shoots in a year? So we want to understand how much people are spending on photo shoots over the course of a year. This helps us understand how much we should charge for our photo shoots or create some kind of subscription package so that if people are spending $800 to $1,000 or more a year, then maybe I can create a subscription service where they pay me $100 a month and they get X amount of photos per month and they get X amount of studio hours per month to shoot. And this is the core framework for how you understand your audience. It works a lot like Amazon. You may have bought a product from Amazon and they sent you an email after and said, hey, rate your experience or fill out this 1-question survey to help us make the experience better. That's essentially what we're doing here because we're not guessing to see what our audience wants. We're not throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
We're testing so that we don't waste our valuable time, money, and energy creating a product or service that nobody wants. So if this was helpful for you and you'd like this tailored for your brand or business, be sure to check the description for a link. Click that link and book a 15-minute free consultation with me and we can get started.